Every little bit helps. Well, I don't know why you would want to do it a little bit wrong when you can do it right. Having said that, I do lots of things a little bit wrong. Friggin' wet. But I'm going to use this opportunity now to start on the splitter. I've collected some of my spare material for the splitter, sheet of aluminium. I'm just going to create doubling plates for it and give them somewhat of an aerodynamic shape if I can, to go over the holes that have pulled through. I'll inspect all the other holes. They're not in a such a vulnerable position for pulling through. Like they're bolted harder against something on the underside of the car. The two out the front are on the, I'll show you, on these stays here, which, you know, are flexible and can move around, so that sort of makes it a bit more susceptible to being pulled through, because what happened somehow is the loop has been pulled up and that's been angled, and then the sharp edge just basically punched through it and then it's torn around the bolts. It must have hit something reasonably hard and lifted fairly hard to do that, but look, it's just what's happened, so I've just got to fix it, and I'll make sure it can't happen again in the future, because on track I may come off at some point. I may go over a ripple strip or something. First thing I've got to do is just straighten the edge a bit. This is a bit bent, and then I'll fix it. Okay, as you can see, it's a fairly simple splitter design. These are just spacers to hold it off the bar to the height that was chosen at the time. Bolts to the car there, here, and of course here, two at the front, two down the other side, same as this. And then on the stays here. Now this is the bolt that's pulled through and it's still stuck, so I've got to get that out. This one was similar, but not quite as bad. It hasn't punched a hole right through it yet, but it's very deformed here, so can't really see it. There's a big chunk there, so I've got to get that out, square these off, and then make some doubling plates for top and bottom to prevent the bolt pulling through. I don't have time to make a whole new splitter before Jap Nats. Just not going to happen, but I will. I'm looking at material with a thicker aluminium sheet on the outside and other options to try and make sure that this doesn't happen in the future on the new one. But for now, it will do the job. It'll be fine. It's not going to pull through. It's hit something. It shouldn't pull through on aero load. I mean, that one will there at that point. Once I put the plates on it, doublers on it, it shouldn't happen. So let's get this out first and see what we do. I'm not going to reuse this bolt. Well, I don't think I will be. Anyway, so I don't mind damaging it. Might be easy to pull it right through this here. I was hoping to punch it back through, but no, it's come all the way out. So that's unfortunate. You can see it's expanded right out. All that material is damaged, weakened, torn. So I'm imagining at least a 50mm split, doubler plate in sort of a teardrop shape like so, and that'll reduce the amount of disturbance to the air. I mean, this is an aerodynamic component. You don't want to go disturbing air on it. This is the air dam. There should be downforce on it. This is the whole theory behind it. So you don't want to just go putting lumps of shit on it in the way. And yeah, so let's have a look at flattening this out a bit. I'm going to fold it back the way it came from. Okay, what we need to do is go the other way and bend this leading edge first. So it's sort of bouncing off that now, so let's flatten that out. Still a bit of a thing there, so let's see if we can do a bit more about that. Okay, so this crease in it here isn't going to go away. Because it's two skins, I'm really only flattening the bottom skin. The rubber, or it's not rubber, polyethylene or something, I can't remember, the hard plastic that's sandwiched in there, the composite material, it's compressed and it's staying down. So it's not going to reform like the aluminium on the skin. So that's probably as good as it's going to get. I might put a little bit of filler or something in this, once again for the aerodynamic profile, but also to make sure it's a flat area, so the load of this double plate is shared evenly across it and I don't have too high a stress point in any one place. It's not going to be perfect, but it will last me for Jap Nats. So let's have a look at the other side. There we go. So if we look here, this leading edge is up there. It's probably about as flat as I'm going to get. There's a little bit of a ding over here which is probably related, but it wasn't from what I've just done. Must have been there before, so I'm going to work that one out now. There's that spot, there it is. Okay, so despite the fact that these are reasonably sizable hammers, the key with flattening, manipulating metal is not so much how hard you hit it or how big your hammer is. It's more about, it's more finesse than that. It's a bit more the direction of your strike and what you've got behind it. For example, this sitting behind here, this has got shape to it, and that's what I'm using to create sort of points that'll flex more than others, not hitting it overly hard. Just letting the material, just move the stress points in the material to where you want them to create the shape you need. Any good panel beater will know what I'm talking about. I'm not a panel beater, I don't pretend to be, but I'm a boilermaker, and the same principles apply whether it's 0.2mm thick or 5 inches thick. The methods you use to create the stresses may be different because you can't hit it with a hammer. You use lots and lots of heat and lots of force. However, it's still the same sort of concept. So it applies on 0.3mm thick aluminium or heavy steel. So the principles I learnt there work here, and also work on the panels. When I rolled the guards on the 33, I did the same thing. Okay, I've measured up and made this template for the doubling plate. So I'll just go on effectively with a circle because that's the easiest shape, and then tapered it back because, well, I don't want the air disturbed. So I need 4 of these, and I'm going to cut them out of the material over here. I've marked 2, and I've marked them along this straight edge here to save me cutting. Wonder if I can get a third one in there, and then maybe a 4th one along there on that straight edge. Let me just tape that up and mark the other 2 out and cut them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Drill. Let's go. Okay, so cutting didn't go so well. I haven't exactly set up my workbench. My bench isn't here. It's got a vise on it, which would be really handy right about now. But I'm going to make do. I've got a vise clamp on the handle of this with a bolt through these to hold them all together so as I get exactly the same shape. So I've got a little bit of cleaning up. I've got more cleaning up to do than I wanted to do. But a jigsaw isn't the ideal cutting tool for this either. But they're sort of similar to each other, and I just need to finish them up. So you can see now, I'll let this finish. So you can see here now, this is all nice and flat. It's not even that hot because I've used such little force. So they're all nice and even. Time to do the radius, or do the other side and then I'll do the radius. I think I've taken too much off one side. on there. I'm going to see if I can save these. If not, I'll just have to start again. But I'll do the shape here and then probably take a bit more off this side to even it. We'll see how it goes. So I can use the asymmetry of it to my advantage, because these are going to go down the centre line like that and this comes away. I might actually use the short side and the long side. It means that the colours won't match, but I'm a bit red on one side and black on the other, but I mean I can paint it if I get that upset about it. Wow, that's not even close. So I've taken so much off it that to get it even over here I must have had one of these in wrong, not level. So anyway, they are what they are. I can still work with that shape. I'm going to make it a bit more even than that and see what I come up with. Alright, there's a couple there. That'll work though. They are a long way from symmetrical, like a very, very long way. But they do span the entire area that's been damaged, and they do taper back to a point. So I think if I put this so as that square edge running down the centre line of the car, that they'll look fine. Oh right, okay. Because symmetry, dickhead. Black will be up on both sides here and red will be facing up on both sides here. I spoke to an aerodynamicist, a professional race car aerodynamics dude, and he told me to radius this. Smoother radius, you'll get better, faster, smoother airflow, and faster, smoother airflow is what the splitter is about. That generates a low pressure below the splitter. That generates some downforce. How much? I've got no idea how much this will actually generate. Probably not a lot, but it's at the front of the car where you need it most. So I've been over this with the bastard file. It wasn't too abrasive, I just had to be cautious around these areas. I can really lean on it in the other areas. I've got a nice radius here, and I'm just using the fine file now to tidy it up, really get a radius instead of a heap of steps, and to make sure that I'm not delaminating the leading edge of the aluminium sheet. Make sure I can keep it nice and round and don't have any catch points. So once I've done that, I'll probably just clean up the leading edge and then leave it. So now I'm done. If you look along the edge, I don't know if you can really see it. There's a nice radius there now. It runs all the way along. Now specifically it's the leading edge, so at about this point I sort of let the radius go and back to the square edge, because the air is travelling parallel to this, not over it. So I imagine having a slight vortice coming off that edge isn't going to matter, and then there's going to be one off the back edge anyway, and that's going to hit the wheel. So vortices hitting the wheel aren't a big concern. So yeah, job done for now. I need to find something to fill that damage with.